Another day, another flow roll. I've got Tim Hayden here from Queensland, one of Queensland's finest grapplers who's starting to make waves on the Australian wrestling scene. Just using a full Nelson there to get the trip and then attempting to go into a half crab. But Tim participated in the EPW summer camp, which is where this was filmed. Also participated in the EPW winter camp 6 months prior. So I was super excited to get him back. I've seen the progress and definitely someone you should watch out for. Here I'm trying to go for an Indian deathlock. He actually used a really, really good counter with that abdominal stretch. He doesn't quite have the leverage where he is, but he can still use it as a transition, as you can see now. A really clever way out of that deathlock. Here I am going for a modified drop toe hold, more like an inverted drop toe hold. Aiming for the ankle lock when I couldn't get it. Transitioning into an Achilles hold. And then both of us 50-50 just jockeying for that position. Both of us getting the hold there. Tim's got almost like a bit of a heel hook. I'm using the leg, trying to isolate it, and then transferring out to take control. Not in the best position, so we reset and go again. Tim's someone who's had a little bit of grappling experience, trained at the Farley Dojo in New Zealand, has travelled around Australia quite a bit, and is just a bit of a sponge when it comes to this kind of stuff. He sees something, he learns it, and he utilises it next time. So I used the knuckle lock to transfer into a modified Imanari roll, then getting a catch wrestling takedown with the straight leg over the shoulder, transferring now into a figure 7 leg lock. Here I often like to bridge over and grab the neck lock, or otherwise known as the Muda lock. Can also get a really, really cool Dean Malenko-esque pin from there, which I started to go for until I worked the leg. And he's just trying to take me off my base. Really good chain wrestling principle there. Try to take me off my base and apply pressure. And generally, wherever you can force that head to go, the body's going to follow. Using a catch wrestling styled crossface there just to move him into the right position so that I could grab that abdominal stretch, the end goal being a pin. As he kicked out of the pin, grabbing an ankle lock, which does open up the legs here slightly. You'll see me start to roll into like a knee bar, which I use to transition into the STF. One of my favorite methods of getting into the STF. Just a really versatile way, and I just don't see a lot of people doing it. And I really do like to use a lot of rolling, a lot of inversions, a little bit more jiu-jitsu styled technique with the way that I do counter into holds. You just don't see a lot of it in pro wrestling. Here getting a variation of the STF. Using the figure forward legs. I don't quite have the legs right, so I just abandon it and start again. A little bit of banter off on the sidelines. Tim here shooting for the inside leg. He's going for the run the pipe takedown. And then eventually getting it. As he steps around, he landed in a step over toe hold. I'm always just looking for ways out. I'm looking for different things that I haven't done before and just, slightly pushing and prodding and turning and just seeing if it throws them off their balance. As I took him down, nothing textbook about that, but it did open up his left arm so that I could get a dorsal Kimura. And then that allows me to rotate and pivot into that armbar. Again, another one of my favorite transitions and submission chains that I often use in jiu-jitsu competition. Here I've crossed my ankles just to pin that shoulder. Tim doing a really good job of turning me. Once you get turned to your stomach, really there's nothing more for me to do, and he'll be able to get his arm out quite easily, as he did. Using my reaction just to get into that headlock there. Here as I work up to my feet, I'm using that momentum, switching it through so that I can grab the hammerlock. And then turning him in a circle to take him down to a grounded base. Using the knee on the head to pin the head and then go for the other arm. And then here, as he turns, I just saw an opportunity to go for a bit of a north-south pin, which is something obviously you don't often see a lot in wrestling. And I also thought that a north-south choke may be there. Tim grabbing the front headlock from the scramble. I used the sucker drag to get out of it into this position where I could grab hold of the grapevine, grab hold of the arm, and then try to turn that head, using that as a bit of a diversion to eventually get to this surfboard stretch with both arms trapped. Tim's grabbing my wrist here, which is really great. Awesome way that he can control me and then roll into that victory roll. So if you enjoyed this flow roll, let me know who you'd like me to roll with next. I'll see you next time on World Beater Wrestling.